Hi everyone, it's Dustin from BVM Jets. Just wanted to give a quick tutorial on how to set up Crow using your JR12X transmitter. First step is to turn on, holding down the enter button. You get into the system mode list. Scroll over to device select. We normally recommend using the second aileron on aux 2. So what I'm going to do is inhibit aux 2 in the device select, so now the aux 2 switch will no longer control that surface. Next step is to go to wing type to mate the two aileron channels together. So we select mate underneath dual aileron, select aux 2, and now you'll have two working aileron channels. We will get out of this by hitting enter twice to get back to the normal screen, and we'll check the menu 75, the servo monitor, for right and left aileron. As you can see here, left aileron, right aileron, and they both are working the same direction. Perfect. So now we want to get Crow to work. So let's go to the first open program mix 1, and scroll over, click. Doesn't matter at this point whether we hold servos. And this is the master, this is the slave, so we're going to set the master to be the flap control and the slave to be flaperon. The next selection we want to make is to make this active only when in the land position. Land is the flap switch all the way down. You can see right here, position 0 would represent what's going on in this column. And in this column, position 1 is activated when the flap lever is all the way down, and goes to position 0 in any other flap mode. So to make the ailerons go up for Crow, we want to be flaps down, position 1. You can see how when I'm out of that, it jumps up to the U and down. So we want this to be about a -60. In typical Kingcats, that makes the ailerons go up. But if for some reason they were going down, you'd make it a positive just by going the other way. 60 is a good value to start with. Refer to the manual for the appropriate amount of aileron up deflection. But again, start with 60 and increase that value to 80 if you need more Crow, and reduce it if you need less. So we'll hit list to go back, and let's go to the servo monitor and check it. You'll see the aileron right now in the Crow position. I got the flight mode selected as landing. You'll see the ailerons are not centered, so that means they're probably in the up direction. But since this is a very generic setup, we would have to change the direction either using that plus and minus shown earlier, or the direction of travel using the reversing function. But I'll take the Crow out. You see they snap back, and flight mode flaps 0 does nothing. So everything's working fine. But now you want to slow down your flap and Crow operation. So we'll go to flap system, menu 66. And we'll simply put in a delay. I use 2 seconds. Go back to monitor, and we'll check that. You see they snap back, the left and right ailerons snap back, but come in slowly with the flap travel. So that's working correctly. Good place to start on a typical Kingcat or Bobcat is with the flaps set for normal to be up about 80%. I like that to be the flaps up value. It can vary a little bit and go up or down from there, but a good place to start. I like my takeoff flap to be 0, and I like my landing to be roughly 80%, and if you need more flap, simply increase it. If you need less flap, decrease it. But The 80-080 is a good place to start. Typically there's no pitch change in the flaps up position. Flaps mid on a Kingcat or Bobcat, I recommend up about 15 to 20%, so we'll call it 18% for the first flight. And on the full flap, full crow, I want up about 23%. And again, that's a good place to start. As you need more or less, you can adjust it from there. But now let's go into the monitor and show all this is working. So right now we're in flaps up mode. You can see where flaps up are here. Ailerons neutral, perfect. Takeoff flap is selected there, and full flap is coming in. And now you can watch the elevator trim. That's mid flap selected, and normal mode, flap selected. So flap system is working perfectly. Now if I need to change the direction of either ailerons, I go to the reverse switch, flap, I can change there. So everything's working good. Now you've got an airplane that you want to add dual flaps to. I'll show you that real quick. Simply turn on holding down enter, go to device select. Let's choose aux 5 to be our second flap. We'll inhibit aux 5. So the aux 5 knob will no longer do the work. We'll go to wing type, where it says flap dual. We will make it mate to aux 5. We'll get out of here, go back to the normal page, and check the monitor. You'll see now aux 5 is the right flap, and aux 1 is now labeled left flap. And let's check that. Everything is still working as it should. Well, I hope that helps set up crow for your BVM Kingcat or Bobcat.